intros. My name is Lydia. You may have all seen me here. I'm on the Women for Biden team, and specifically, I'm on the team that is currently focused on these Georgia runoffs, working with ladies in Georgia and nationally to help people understand why they're so important, what are the key things we need to know, and how can one get involved. So we're going to talk to Kim about that today. I'll just give Kim a brief intro as well. It's hard to put all that she's done into a few sentences, but I'll do my best. Kim is a media personality. She creates content for her own digital brand, covering lifestyle, entertainment, and personal development. She has just released a book recently called It's Never Too Late, which if you are a woman and you have experienced any sort of setback, this is the book for you. It's talking about how to create an epic comeback. Kim has interviewed some of the industry's biggest stars. You've got Oprah, you've got Michael B. Jordan, you got Tyler Perry. So the fact that I am currently interviewing you, Kim, is an honor. And lastly, I'll say most importantly, perhaps for this moment in time, Kim was on the ground with Stacey Abrams in 2018 and experienced as a canvasser just front and center Stacey being robbed of that election. So it feels really, really important to talk to you about this election, Kim, and why this is so important. I'll just kick it off by saying again, from a national perspective, I think it's understood that this is so important. And the main thing that people are thinking about is Mitch McConnell has power and he will continue to block common sense policies and legislation to protect the American people, right? I mean, let's just think about a COVID relief bill. No, it's been sitting there on his desk. So the whole nation is watching this. And as a Georgian, I'd just love to hear from you. What is this like in Georgia? Why is this so important for Georgians?
Well, this is important, first of all, for those who do not know, neither candidate won 50% of the vote. So that's why we're here in the first place. In case you're wondering, why are we doing this again? This is why. We're in the race, neither candidates broke 50%. So now we're in the runoff. So what's most important is that if Ossoff and Warnock win, the Democrats take control of the seat, which is exactly what you just said. We won't have anyone blocking any agenda that we previously had. So right now it's 50-48. If you think about it like a basketball game, the score is 50-48. We need more points on the board. So to get those points on the board, we have to elect our two senators, which is John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. And when it's time to pass and make decisions, Kamala Harris will be the tiebreaker. So we'll be able to get so much more passed. You know, this is the exact same problem President Barack Obama had. He couldn't get as much accomplished as he wanted to because he kept getting blocked. So yes, it's great we had this amazing man in office and we just elected another amazing man and woman that'll be in office, but we don't want to repeat the same thing again. We have to make sure they have the aid and support that they need so that when it comes to, you know, a stimulus deal or infrastructure for healthcare measures and taxes and spending policies, when all of that is on the line, which affects us nationwide, that decision is going to come down to Georgia so that everything can get passed through.
Yeah. Well, that's got to be exciting. I mean, to be a Georgian voter, first of all, congratulations on flipping it blue. I mean, as I said, you were there for Stacey Abrams, and this has been going on for a long time in Georgia. But just to see that moment, I have goosebumps as I'm saying this, to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in a state that has, as I said, been in this situation for such a long time with extreme voter suppression. That is so exciting. And, you know, it's really exciting that you still have this second chance to go into these runoffs. So congratulations.
Thanks.
You started talking about this, but
Georgian voter.
Yeah.
Georgia vote. I'm like, oh my God, we get to do this again. And so I think it was still amazing that Stacey Abrams still, even though she was cheated from her run for governor, she still had a hand in, you know, in getting what she needed to get done, which is Biden and Kamala. So, you know, yeah. Funny how that worked out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank goodness for Stacey Abrams and so many other powerful women.
Yeah.
You started talking a little bit about the policy, but for people who aren't as familiar with Ossoff and Warnock, tell me a little bit about them, who they are as candidates.
Okay. So John is a Georgia native. He's a media executive. He was actually an investigative journalist. So I'm sure all of those skills are coming into handy right now. And a small business owner. He's married. His wife is Alicia. She's an OBGYN physician. So she knows firsthand what she's seeing in the hospitals and how important it is for us to definitely get Corona under wraps. His mentor was Congressman John Lewis. So this isn't his first rodeo. He learned from the best by the one who taught us all how to get in good trouble, which is definitely a catalyst and my passion for what I'm doing now. And so John is basically going to continue what he learned from his mentor, Congressman John Lewis. Now, Raphael Warnock, his father was a veteran, also a small businessman and a preacher. He graduated from Morehouse, earned his PhD, and then he was ordained into ministry. And he's also the senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, which is the former pulpit of Martin Luther King Jr. And I've been to that church many times. Reverend Warnock obviously has officiated, whether it was a service or a holiday celebration. And most recently, with the killing of Rayshard Brooks this summer, he was the young man, he was 27 years old, that was gunned down in the Wendy's parking lot. He was just trying to go home. It could have been de-escalated in a totally different way, but it ended up tragically. And the services were held there at Reverend Warnock's church, and I was able to watch him officiate it. So this is nothing that he's new to. So his impact doesn't stop at the church door, which is one of his main things that he wants everyone to know. Yes, he's a pastor, but his impact doesn't stop there. He's been an advocate to expand healthcare coverages and to ensure that hardworking Georgians make a livable wage. So we have two really, really strong candidates that's, out paving the streets because we have a message. And if you watch all of the commercials you see, especially in John's commercial, he talks about the importance of not being entitled to your role. Because when a candidate is entitled to their role, they get comfortable. Their ears aren't really open to what the people need and how they're suffering and what help and support they need. But when you've been on the ground and you've worked with those people and you talk to them on a daily basis, it's time to get those people in there. Also, Ossoff is pretty young. He's in his early 30s. A lot of people that's in the Senate, they're, a little bit older, but he's so mature for his age and has done the work. It's time to bring in his innovation for our whole nation to see some changes.
Yeah, absolutely. You cover that beautifully, so thank you. Just to be mindful of time, and I so appreciate everybody who's listening to this. There are two questions I often get, which I'd split into two buckets. One is people in Georgia saying, what can I do? This is so exciting. And then so many people around the nation saying, oh my God, this is huge, and I'm not a Georgia voter. How can I get involved? And I have my own thoughts on that, but I always like to say, let me hear it from the Georgians, because it's you all who live there. This is your election. So I'd love to hear your take on, how do you answer that question, first for a Georgian and then second for a non-Georgian?
Well, definitely if you're in Georgia, you need to make sure everyone around you knows the importance of this race. Yes, we've already had the presidential race, but it's not over. The Senate race continues. We don't want all the work that we did, all the campaigning, all the texting, everything that we did to go for nothing if we can't send them the support that they need to really carry out the promises that they made, which is what they got elected on. I can't say that I agree with 100% of everything they believe, but it's definitely a start. It's definitely how we get everything turned back around. So I would say make sure your family knows, send text messages, do your research, Google it, but make sure everyone knows this is not just another random election. This is a Georgia election that has a national impact, and it is so vital to whether it's healthcare, to stimulus relief that so many people need. It's so much aid and support and help that's sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk right now. It is heartbreaking to just think about. He's just like, not important. But while hundreds and thousands of people have died, but they can't feel it. They cannot. So they have to go. That's the bottom line. So make sure everyone knows. And if you're not in Georgia, donate. You can go to their websites. Electjohn.com is for John. You can Google Reverend Warnock's. and definitely donate, because we need all guns a-blazing right now. And we need, and also if you can text, virtually anybody can do that. You can text, you can send emails, you can volunteer. Obviously, we can't do a lot that we would normally do face to face, like when I worked with Stacey Abrams. We went canvassing. I went in my neighborhood. We knocked on doors. They were like, "I'm so glad you're doing this." So we can't do that now, but what you can do is communicate and make sure everyone, whether it's on social media, share a flyer, get the word out some kind of way. So the two main ways I would say, if you're not in Georgia, is to donate and to volunteer. And three more, let everybody know that they have to vote on January 5th. And if you're not registered to vote yet, this Monday in Georgia is the deadline to vote if you're not registered. So if there's someone that just turned 18 in the past couple of weeks since the presidential election, we have to get them out to the votes. In Georgia, there's 23,000 more people that just became eligible to vote. We have to get them to the polls, and for them to understand the reason why. We have to pull them away from their video games and let them know, hey, no, this affects you too, so I would say that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things we talk about a lot, is just there are so many people, like you said, 23,000 people who are eligible to vote in this election, but they weren't for Biden and Harris's election. I mean, that's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
It's crazy, but you have to, this is such an interesting situation. Runoffs doesn't mean much to so many people. So It is about getting this word out there. We actually have an Instagram account for this race called GA Women for Ossoff Warnock. It's long, but you'll see some of the content on the Women for Biden page. And I know, Kim, you post it too, but on there we have simple graphics about these dates. You need to know what is a runoff, what's at stake, what are some of their policy differences. So I think all those things are important to have. And then the other thing is this domino effect, or gosh, what do they call it? The 6 degrees of separation. But I have a friend who has family in Georgia, and I wouldn't have known her family, but if I tell her something, she can pass it on to her family. It's just such a small country in that regard. And somebody recently reminded me, I don't use Facebook often, but you can go on Facebook and in the search bar, type in friends in Georgia. And it pulled up. I mean, I think I have 40 friends in Georgia who I had no idea were in Georgia.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's a fun tip for people to just go in there, and then to your point, just text a friend. Monday is the registration deadline. December 14th, people can start voting early. I mean, I'm telling you things you already know, but today people request a mail-in ballot. We know the power of voting early. We saw this in this last election. So, how do we get people through word of mouth to get out there, vote early, request your ballot, get to the polls early? I mean, I'm just sitting here like shaking with excitement. So I'm like, if I could get another I voted sticker, what I would do. But yeah,
I'm always an early voter. Some people, obviously whatever works for you, but I need them to get that good tap on the machine. In Georgia, I'm like, I'm not mailing anything. You're going to get this good tap from me. I'm bringing my daughter with me, because I need to make sure you count it, because I'm not playing with these people. I am so serious. We have to make sure we do all we can, all the way, whether you have to pray or whatever you believe in, put your faith in it. Also on January 5th, there's also another candidate, Daniel Blackman. They all work hand in hand with John Ossoff, with Warnock, and Daniel Blackman. In Georgia, he's running for Georgia commissioner. What he's in charge of is making sure individuals in rural areas have access to high-speed Wi-Fi. So if a student lives, I'm in the city of Atlanta, I'm in Buckhead, so I get everything. But what if you live 30, 40 miles outside of Georgia and you don't have access to high-speed internet? There's so many deserts like that. Also, his position is in charge of making sure that Georgia Power, your electricity bills are low. You have to have someone in that position that cares and understands the importance, not just as long as you and your rich friends and families can access high-speed internet, and because that's what connects the world right now. Everything is on Wi-Fi. So Daniel Blackman, remember that name. Make sure you check his name also. It's on this same exact ballot. And they're campaigning all together. And I'll put it on my Instagram.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, my dad's calling me.
No, fine. So you said something.
Oh. Yeah, so I can't remember what part got cut off, but Ossoff, Warnock, Dan Blackman. Make sure you check the box for Black. We want so many people have access to Wi-Fi and lower Georgia power bills. So yeah.
Okay, so one last question. You mentioned you're taking your daughter to the polls. You're pushing the button in person.
Yes.
What's your plan? What day are you going? How are you figuring out where to go? Tell me a little bit more.
I usually don't go the first day of early voting because that's when they have all the bugs and tweaks and or whatever. I usually go maybe 2 or 3 days into early voting. And then when I go, I typically like to go, of course, when you early vote, you have more options of where you can vote. So in Georgia, you don't have to go to if you early vote, you don't have to go to your assigned precinct. You can go to whatever precinct that's open in your county. I'm in Fulton County, so I like to go where the Hawks play to State Farm Arena. And every time, I guarantee you, I have never stood in a line to vote. I have never had to stand in a line to vote. Why? Most of the time, I go vote early because I know I'm not standing in that line. I'm not playing the game. That's why we have to take it seriously. We can't say, oh yeah, I'll go vote whenever I fit it in my schedule when I'm not busy. No, you have to have a plan. You have to know when are the lines the longest. Plan it around what you have going on. And at least the last 4 or 5 election, and my daughter is 24. So she's still a new, she's fresh out of college. So I'm teaching her how to adult. So I bring her along with me every time we go vote. And I say, no, we're going to go vote early. And she sees it. We're in and out literally within 5 minutes. Literally. No one else is in there each time, even during the pandemic. No one else was in there but us. So, hey, that's my plan, is to go maybe 2 or 3 days after early voting. They're going to get this good tap from me. My candidates. I'm going to get my Georgia sticker, and we're going to make this happen.
I love it. I saw a couple questions come in while you're talking. Just a reminder, early voting window, December 14th to December 30th. That's in person. Somebody asked about mail-in ballots. You can request it and mail it today. We recommend mailing it as soon as possible. So request it today, get it, fill it out, put it back in the mail. Watch the person postmark it. This happened to a friend of mine for the general. It didn't get there in time because they didn't postmark it. So if you're going to the post office, say, could you please postmark it in front of me? And then you can use iwillvote.com. I'll never get tired of talking about iwillvote.com to figure out where you can vote. So that's just some questions so that you can do exactly what Kim's doing, which is make your plan, figure it out, passionately vote, and get this done.
Yes, we make it an event. We take pictures. We take selfies. It's like our thing. It's what we do. So if you take a friend, or if you don't have anyone, take it by yourself. Hey, you'll start by yourself, child. Just take your own picture, your selfie. Most importantly, make the statement that we need to elect Ossoff and Warnock and Daniel Blackman.
And Daniel Blackman.
And for January 5th.
January 5th. Okay, last fun question I'm just going to throw in there. It's a bit of a curveball, but if you're on your way to the polls and you get to pick one song to put on your drive to the polls or your walk, what do you pick?
Oh, I'm putting on Beyonce, Who Run the World, Girls.
Love it.
Beyonce, it works every single time. You have a little extra pep in your step. So, hey, it's my hype song, and it never gets old. Yes, it came out a long time ago. I don't care. I'm playing it anyway. Who Runs the World, Girls, because that's exactly why we have that's coming in office.
Absolutely. Yes. When women show up, we win.
Yes.
Girls run the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Who's in there?
Sorry?
You said we have some questions?
Those are some of the ones I saw come in.
Oh.
I did ask a question about Facebook. The reminder was you can use Facebook. Just type in your search bar, friends in Georgia, and it will spit out all your friends in Georgia. So that was one of the questions I saw. The rest were kind of specifics about voting. Work That by Mary J. Blige. Yes.
Hey, yeah.
That's a great
Yeah,
one.
that's her walkout song.
Yes, that's right. But yeah, I think the rest of the questions I was trying to watch, but also you were very engaging. So, you know, I can't do two things at once all that well.
If you have more questions, just hit us up on the gram.
Yep, that's right. And yes, you can DM Kim, DM us at Women for Biden. And definitely, we would love to get you involved and make sure everybody can vote.
Yes, so important. Well, I thank you so much, Lydia, for making this happen. I'm so excited. I love doing stuff like this because, hey, women run the world and we have to make it happen. We have to let people know, hey, this isn't one you want to sit out on.
Yeah.
One, and statistics show that Democrats typically do not come back out again. But we have to be clear in our language with them. No, we are not going to sit back out. It's not, oh, well, I voted for president, I'm done. No, you're not done.
Yep. Yep.
We have to go out and complete everything because you can't have a body where the head works, but your legs don't work. We have to have our legs working too. We work together. We're one body. So
Yep.
we have both of them are in DC.
Absolutely. Yeah. Atlanta mayor said it best. Keisha Lance Bottom said it's 1 down, 2 to go. So
Yeah.
3 to go, Daniel Blackman.
Yeah.
So yeah. So just in summary, if you live in Georgia, make your plan to vote. You can find all that at iwillvote.com. DM Kim. She's the local on the ground in Georgia. And then if you don't live in Georgia, you can follow us and follow GA Women for Ossoff Warnock. We have ways to get involved. We have a shortcut to get to our website, WFOW, Women for Ossoff Warnock.org/home. And you can donate to the campaigns. Phone banking is a really, really important thing to do. And then find your own friends and text them and remind them to vote. So that's a bit of a summary of what we learned tonight. And Kim, thank you so much. Go Georgia. And yeah, keep us posted. If there's any other way we can help, we're here for you.
Will do. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Bye.